Welcome, everyone. This is another installment of the series of the Bitcoin Beach Grant winners. Tonight we have Bitcoin Sranan with us, Terence and Maya. We already had a conversation with Maya about Bitcoin Suriname and all the projects that are there, but this time we are focusing on Sranan. I would love you to start, Terence, by explaining what does Sranan mean. Is it like a dialect in Suriname or something like this?
Kind of. It's also our own language that was created in Suriname. So it's a mixture of different languages. It's like a Creole form. So Sranang means Suriname, translates to Suriname.
Nice, very good. Yeah, so the idea of this project, these spaces, is to speak about the project and particularly what are you doing, what's your story, your Bitcoin story, and what motivated every one of you to create this idea and this project.
So my origin story within Bitcoin is I started working for Maya, and then she slowly brought me on in this Bitcoin adventure. Um, And then slowly we've been building up Bitcoin Sanang every week. We've been onboarding. We've been doing the Treasure Academy course and all that stuff. And we've been trying to um, tell people more about Bitcoin and because through our inspiration of other circular economies. And that's something we want to strive for here in Suriname as well.
So tell us a little bit about where the idea came from, how long you've been working with Maya. I know you said it came from her, but how did that start that you guys were working together? And delve into a little bit about what the treasure courses are, what it involves. I'm assuming it has to do with the hardware wallets, but yeah, just fill in the details for us.
Yeah. So I started mid July with Maya, and from then on, every day I've been learning more and more. I've been watching podcasts and listening. And what we did with the Treasure Academy was the beginner's course. It lasted 3 weeks. We did it on Saturdays. We had around average of 15 students that were interested. They asked a lot of questions. We introduced them to wallets that they can use. We also told them there are also multiple wallets that they can decide to choose depending on what suits their needs. But we show them, for example, Moon and how to use Blink. While we're onboarding as well, the wallet we're teaching everyone and asking to use is also Blink.
So color in the what the purpose of the classes are, who are these students, give us a picture of what this looks like and what the end goal is. And
So, if to paint a picture of what the classes look like, um, with this wonderful teacher named Aaron, he already is teaching some of his students because he's already a teacher at a school, and he volunteered to help us out, and he was just doing an introduction to Bitcoin, why it's beneficial, why it is the future, how to use the wallet, how it can be brought into a circular economy. The students were from different ages and from different walks of life. Some of them were already familiar with Bitcoin. They already had their wallets. They already knew much more than some of the others, and some of the others were new and were eager to learn more about this. And what we aim to do is then to start this month with the Mir Premiere as well, so we can get more people involved, teach more people. Because every time I approach someone on the road or on the street or in a shop, and I tell them about it, they seem very eager and they're willing to learn and also join the Bitcoin community and start their Bitcoin adventure.
so when you say me premiere, I mean I know what you're talking about, but a lot of people won't. So what exactly is the connection with my first Bitcoin? and what are you guys doing with that curriculum?
What we plan to do with the curriculum is to um, we're going to start by making a form so people can who are interested, they can sign in. There are already a bunch of people that told me they really want to learn more, and with this curriculum, if they finish it, they will get a Bitcoin diploma, which gives them the opportunity to also teach others if they want, or to have the knowledge for themselves and they can share with others. And we hope to start with a group so it keeps increasing, like per course or per graduate. So that's more the idea of what we plan to do, is just to educate the Surinamese population, to make them aware of other possibilities or the numerous possibilities within Bitcoin.
And are these courses being taught in the capital city? And what's kind of the long-term plan on this? Do you see this as kind of growing to other locations, or just focusing on the hub of where you guys are at? Explain a little bit just of the strategy.
The strategy is to definitely start in Paramaribo, and the more graduates we have, the more we can expand to other districts and villages. That's basically the strategy until most people are aware. Um, Also, I forgot to mention, we have monthly meetups as well, usually on the 21st of a month, where people can come, hang out, ask questions about Bitcoin, talk about Bitcoin. Um, so those are also fun. Most of the students join, and then you get to know them in a more informal setting. Uh, and now, because of the Treasure Academy course, the beginnings course, there is even one student who's helping out with his cousin, going onboarding with us as well, and he's also volunteered to be willing to teach courses as well. So those are some nice things that happens when there are unexpected connections, like you get someone who's interested and eager to learn, and then they join the organization, and then everything rolls off there. So that's also pretty fun and exciting, for me as well. I get to meet tons of new people. I get to learn a lot from others as well. So that's basically the strategy of what we aim to do.
And what were you doing before you started working with Maya? I'm just kind of curious as to how old you are, and then from there, just curious when she started, teaching you about Bitcoin. What were your initial thoughts, and what did you see that was relative to your life and those that you're working with?
Sorry. So for me, I've heard around Bitcoin here and there. I heard about crypto here and there. I'm 27, by the way. For the last 5 years, I spent in Belgium. I did international business as a bachelor, and then I came back in December. Before I joined Maya, I did some jobs here and there for different companies, but it wasn't quite the right fit. And then through someone I knew, I found um, advertisements for uh, Maya, and then I just applied, and it went pretty fast, and I got to start from July. For me, it was a lot of information in the beginning. It was quite new, but also rewarding. I get to talk and communicate with a lot of new people. I get to be part of a supportive community, and it's also very nice that everyone is so willing to help out to build something nice for the future for for their country. So that's basically my story.
And were you working in Daedalus Labs with Maya, or how did you become part of the team?
No, I was not working for Daedalus Labs. She had already set up Bitcoin Sanan, and through her company, Quick Ship Logistics, I joined them, and then through them, I talked more and more with Maya, and then she introduced me to Bitcoin Sanang, and from there on, I joined Bitcoin Sanang. So it was a very fast working relationship.
And is it pretty typical? I believe a lot of people in Suriname go to the Netherlands for university. Is it typical that people come
Yeah.
back afterwards, or do a lot of them choose to stay? And if for you, was that something that you wrestled through, or did you kind of know you'd always come back?
Well, no, my plan was always to. So the thing is, most people, they're half stay. I would say half decide to stay in Europe and half decides to come back. Depends on personal preference. For me, I've been in Suriname for a long time, and I wanted to start living in Europe. Um, but due to unfortunate reasons, I had to come back to Suriname, and I don't regret coming back. But it was a lot of reverse culture. I had to adapt again, which took some time. Um, so that's basically what happened to me.
So when you are teaching the classes, what do you see resonates most with the people as far as them understanding the need for Bitcoin, and what is kind of one of the biggest hurdles that you see that keeps people from becoming interested or continuing their studies?
So I didn't teach the courses. Another colleague of ours named Aaron, who's the teacher. But I've attended those classes as well. And the biggest hurdles we face sometimes is I also see it in onboarding is when I go on the road. It's just that people don't know about it and they're kind of cautious about it. But what we do is once we face that block, we decide to come back another time and keep showing our faces and just try to explain to them how it works, what it is, they don't have to be scared of it, or that they can go. I give them like links where they can go watch videos or websites where they can go read about it, to ease to ease that fear of theirs. Um, on the other hand of that coin as well is when I see students, most of them are very eager once they get past the hurdle of being fear or being cautious. So that's also nice to see is when they get over that hurdle, they start asking more and more questions. They get really into it, and it's always nice to experience that excitement with other people.
I should have done this at the beginning, but maybe explain to people that didn't hear when we had Maya on. Um, where is Suriname, and a little bit of the unique history of the country, it being in Latin America, but not Spanish or Portuguese speaking, and just kind of the unique makeup of the country.
So Suriname is in South America. It's above Brazil. It's very close to the Amazon. We have a lot of rich nature, beautiful jungles. About the history is we were actually a colony of the Netherlands, so that's why the national language is Dutch and not Spanish or Portuguese.
Awesome. Well, I think we might have a little bit of a shorter spaces tonight. You guys, I know this is a new project for you guys, and so Maya, do you want to color in any other details there that we might have missed?
Um, yeah, the only thing I think Terrence didn't mention is that we opened up the education center. So that's where we're hosting the courses, and we also want to keep it open during the day because for now we've been doing the courses on Saturday at night. So we'd like to keep that open during the day so that businesses or people that want to learn can come visit, and this can just be, like a focal point for education. So thanks to the first course, and obviously thanks to the Bitcoin Beach grant, we've been able to open that. We just put up a new sign. We're able to buy seating for the students, and a display for slideshows and presentations. And we're also able to pay salaries in Bitcoin, so that will help to stimulate the circular economy here.
And is that center? It's in the capital city, or where is the center?
Yeah, it's basically a debt center in the city, Verlengde Keizerstraat, number 17B. So um, it's it's one of the main streets in the city center, and it's like a 2 to 3 minute drive from like the core of the city, basically.
Paramaribo, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Paramaribo.
Paramaribo.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Maya, while we have you on here, is there for people that don't know Maya, she's currently running for president. Am I correct in saying that? Is that official? Um,
Yeah, it's official.
it's official. So I'm just curious as to how the campaign's going, and if there's any updates on the ground and how that process is playing out.
Well, it's been going very well. Actually, we've been getting a lot of good responses. We've been doing focus groups and recruiting new candidates because it's a parliamentary system. So you need 51 candidates for every seat in parliament. And we're building a team of people that have integrity, people that are doers in the community that are already having an impact. um, and it's been great because it's been going very fast, and we haven't even done massive media outreach yet. We're starting that at the end of the October, November. So that's when the actual like mass public campaigning really starts. But we have a completely different strategy than politicians, since everybody in the group isn't an old school politician, or hasn't been involved in politics in any of the older political parties. So we're focusing on actually just doing things on the ground, solving problems for people, bringing solutions to, for example, currently there's a crisis in healthcare. 3 newborns just passed away. The NICU has had to close. The cardio department has had to close. And then we basically just use our network for that. We've gotten a lot of support from the private sector as well. So we use our network to try and resolve these issues. And we'll starting in about 2 to 3 weeks. We'll have a massive building, thanks to a sponsor in the city that also wants change and also wants to support a younger generation of people that are not corrupt politicians. So that'll be nice to see in the dead of, like, in the heart of the city. Basically, it's one of the core buildings, um, painted in the colors of the party, and the name of the party is 597. 597 network. So it's a similar idea to to Bitcoin and nodes. We have people that are like a node, and we work collaboratively as a team. So it's not like the traditional political parties where I'm running for president and I call the shots and I say this is how it's going to be. It's basically just teamwork, and um, as a team, as long as a party wins and the country gets developed, that's we all win. Basically, that's the goal.
And is that a new party, or is that a party that's was already existing before this election?
Well, it existed since 2021, so it's been in existence for the past 3 years. So they didn't. The last elections were in 2020, so um, they weren't in the last election, and it was actually more of a movement. They weren't going to join these elections, but he heard the chairman. He heard me speak during the interview that went out when I was in El Salvador actually, and it was inspired to run for change, just to run with the party in these elections and give us a platform to be able to run. So that's when it completely converted into a political party, and this movement just kind of started, and it keeps growing every day almost, with more and more people joining.
That's amazing. So I was just sitting down tonight with a mutual friend of ours, John McBride. He was, I guess, down there visiting you a couple weeks ago. Said he met your dad and was just very impressed with what he saw on the ground there. So it was kind of fun getting a little bit of a recap from him.
Oh yeah. That was a really nice experience to have John here. I met him in El Salvador as well, and for him to get like a take on Suriname, and also get to meet everyone here and kind of see what the beauty of the country is, and what the opportunity, especially for Bitcoin, is, and what the political situation is here. Yeah, that was very nice. More and more Bitcoiners are coming down, which is great. We're getting more and more help, and things are after a year of kind of just building and building and building, things are finally taking off.
Curious as to what like official role Bitcoin has in your platform. Is that something that you guys have kind of worked out? I know you see it as key to making a difference and transforming the country, but have you spelled that out in any kind of formal way?
Yeah, so it's in our manifesto as well, as one of the key policies that we want to implement is Bitcoin as legal tender. And then we also have using Bitcoin for distribution of shares. We want to privatize a lot of the state-owned companies that should be privatized, should not be government run. So there's multiple aspects of the country that we want to change with Bitcoin, and we've made incorporated that into our manifesto that will be launching in the next week or two. I believe they were working on getting the website updated with a new manifesto, and that should have been live today. And then that launches, I'll also share it, on my profiles. Um, and basically, it's core to at least everything that I have spelled out to the team, and what's important to be a hedge against inflation, and for us to attract foreign direct investment. We have several projects that will benefit directly from making Bitcoin legal tender, and that is something that we can do immediately after the elections. Is making it equal to the euro and the dollar, and then we can implement more and change more and implement more strategies as that progresses. We'll also accept Bitcoin and Lightning for donations to the campaign, and be very transparent. We're very adamant about transparency in terms of what happens with funding. So we want to distinguish there too, that you can actually see, like, okay, they're going to tackle, the problem with orphanages. There are 110 orphanages. Kids are abused at these orphanages. They're badly neglected, horribly neglected, especially during, the economic downturn. Things have gone sour very, very quickly. And then basically project based show, like, okay, this is where your funding is going, and this is the impact that it's having. And we're also launching, kind of like an experiment, a public document, basically a constitution based on Bitcoin, to get feedback from the Bitcoin community on how they would um, build a country, on a Bitcoin standard, basically, and kind of try to open source that and see what we end up with, heading towards the elections.
I love that. So did you say you are already accepting donations through that, or you're waiting to launch that, or I don't know what the campaign season is and how that officially works there, and or when the actual election is. So maybe fill in some of those details.
Yeah, so the election is May next year, and the larger parties have already started campaigning, going out to districts within their like existing structures. But the heavy campaigning starts October, November, and the website, the also a young team member, Nigel. He was finishing it up today, so that should launch within the next couple of days.
Make sure you send us a message when it's ready so we can relay that to people. Make sure they know that's out there.
Definitely, especially having Bitcoin as legal tender as a part of the manifesto and one of the core um, policies that we want to implement to tackle inflation. Yeah, definitely sharing.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we were able to get a little campaign update in here with this. Paco, is there anything that we didn't cover? I know this is going to be a shorter one, as I mentioned before. This is a newer project, so there's not a lot of information to cover. Is there anything else we need to do before we wrap up?
Just only if anyone in the audience wants to ask a question, you can request to speak and we can approve it. Reminding that we can just stick to the subject, the Suriname subject, or even if you want to ask Maya a question, raise your hand. Other than that,
Oh, I forgot to mention, there's also a biodiversity credit project happening with Amazon Conservation Team and the University of Rio de Janeiro. One of the professors.
Okay, so no, I think so. We can close.
Paco, Maya's speaking right now. Maybe you can't hear her. Continue, Maya.
Yeah, so biodiversity credits, and he just successfully, in collaboration with Blockstream, issued it on Liquid. And they'll be speaking on COP 2025 in 2025 about that project here in Suriname. They've been, he sent equipment here. They've been monitoring biodiversity in the forest. So that's a nice project that's taken off. And we're currently in the process of two projects in rural villages in the interior of Suriname, Gunsi and Pikinsley. Unfortunately, tonight, about I think it was an hour or 2 hours ago, a house burned down in Pikinsley because they still use the oil lanterns, and two people passed away during that fire, and that's because their solar grid is the capacity is very small and it's damaged, so they can only use electricity from 7 to 9 p.m. So we're working with miners to increase the solar capacity at those villages, so they can have electricity all throughout the day and have another source of income. Same goes for Gunsi. Gunsi is their solar grid got damaged by lightning, so they have a similar problem with electricity, and that's a lot of villages throughout the city. So throughout the interior, sorry. So that's something that's also currently happening on the ground.
I almost forgot too. Why don't you give a little spiel for the conference you have coming up? I know that's just around the corner here.
Oh, right. Yes. So we have a conference November 7 to 9. The team's working very hard on, just the whole planning, getting the speakers here. We'll have Nikki and James from Bitcoin Berlin speak here. We'll be having multiple speakers from, all around the world, basically. Kent Halliburton, Dom Day, Luke from Bitcoin News, and they'll all be speaking to a local audience about um, basically the basics of Bitcoin, because it is an audience that is still learning. And then we have a conference part that is focused on speakers, for the private sector, for businesses that want to start incorporating Bitcoin, or people that want to learn more about Bitcoin. And we have events where they'll basically be able to use Bitcoin, whether it's with a Nostr wallet or with the Blink wallet or whatever, to pay at a vendor, to buy tickets, and be able to, just enjoy and experience how Bitcoin basically works. So if you're able, come down to 9 November, help us orange pill, help us onboard merchants, help support the building of the circular economy and everything that's happening on the ground here.
Is there a website or anything where they can get information or tickets for the conference, or what's the best way for them to get more information?
The website is SurinameDecentralized.com. And they are also on X as srdecentralized.com. Sorry, srdecentralized.
Perfect. Well, I think that we can go ahead and wrap things up. We're really appreciative for you guys' time and all the things you guys are doing there in Suriname. I love to see these new projects popping up. And yeah, are you going to join us for Adopting Bitcoin after your conference, Maya?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So we'll have to do another podcast while you're there.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a lot more updates by then.
Is there any other people that are working with the Bitcoin Sranan project that that you want people to be following, ways that they can be rooting you guys on? Obviously, if they can send sats your guys' way, that's always helpful. Is there anybody else they should be following in that project?
Well, K-Ball BTC is heavily involved with everything that we've been doing for the past year. You have Nova Stars Academy, which is a soccer project in multiple areas in Suriname. That's also, they launched the federation, so they're working on also stimulating Bitcoin adoption in their within the children that are playing soccer and within the families engaged in that. Unfortunately, he had a TIA, so he's been a bit down, Ryan. But I spoke to him today, and he's getting back to it. So
I'm sorry, he had what?
And a brain how do you say TIA? A brain infarct.
Oh, like a stroke.
A stroke, yeah, but a minor stroke. TIA is like a smaller stroke. It does hit you. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Well, I hope some people are able to make it down for the conference, and then also be able to see all the stuff that's going there on the ground. Yeah, Roman and I were talking tonight that we got to figure out a time to get down there.
Yeah,
John was getting us excited about it. So
you should. It is. Especially dipping in the Amazon rivers or in a waterfall. It is a different type of experience, and just seeing what's happening here on the ground. Grassroots and stimulating that is definitely would be helpful to have you guys here.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Keep up the hard work, and Maya, we'll see you here in November.
Yes.
Thank
you guys for having us.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Terence.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
take
Maya.
care.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, Maya.
Bye.